Adding shimmer and glitter to cards always adds that finishing accent, and I get asked all the time, what is your favorite shimmer? I love using stamp paints. It's easy to apply and you can dilute the colors, you can use the full color to create a lot of different looks. So today I'm going to show you how you can add color to main images to add quick shimmer detail, and we'll show you a couple cool techniques with that. So join me and we'll learn those techniques together. To stamp these two images, I used the Graphite Black Brilliance ink and heat embossed it with the fine detail black embossing powder. And I stamped this image, and that is actually connected as one piece, and then I cut it out with a coordinating die. And then I used the Hummer from the Botanic Orchid Bouquet stamp and die set as well. So to color these hummingbirds and to create this bright, vibrant color and also accomplish that shimmer, what I'm going to show you first is what happens if you just take your sponge and dip right into the stamp paint and apply that directly. So if you want to kind of experiment, I have a clear cardstock base. I'll just kind of sponge some of the excess off, but you'll see very quickly that if you just kind of maybe add this to the head of the hummingbird, that is really dark and bright and vibrant. So what I like to do is I like to spray a little bit of water onto my sponge, and that helps to dilute the color. And I'll kind of sponge that off onto my clear cardstock a little bit. And I'll start by just showing how I colored this one. So I'll kind of sponge off a little bit, and I'll add just a little bit of that bright red color into the hummingbird. Then we'll switch to maybe a little bit of copper. I'll sponge that off onto my tray, and we'll spray a little bit of water on this sponge as well to delete the, or not to delete the color, to dilute the color. We'll add a little bit of color to the belly of the hummingbird. Now what's great about this is you can blend these colors together. So we're going to go back, add a little bit of the grass green. This is a very bright and vibrant color. So kind of sponge that off onto our tray and spray a little bit of water onto the sponge to dilute it. You can also always kind of see that color. Oops, I sponged accidentally into another one. So I'm just going to pick up another little bit of the green and just move this around a little bit and just kind of go in a circular motion and kind of start blending those colors together. If you have a dry part of a sponge, I'll kind of flip that around and just kind of brush that color out. Then I'll maybe go back, add a little bit of blue. I'm going to spray some water onto my sponge first on this one. You can kind of see what happens with that. Sponge the blue off onto my mat, and then just kind of go back and forth. Oops, I want a little bit more blue. Kind of onto the tail of the hummer. See how that color just comes in, and then I'll finish it off with the green. So I'll just kind of add that bright, vibrant color into the tail, kind of just sponge that in. And then I see that I want a little bit more of the copper color on the belly, and we'll kind of blend out with the red a little bit more on the head of the hummingbird. Just kind of blend that color together, and maybe just a little bit more of a vibrant green across the back of the hummingbird. So you can kind of adjust the vibrant color. So I kind of just did direct to paper on this one, didn't spray more water on that, and you quickly have that very bright color. So you could do the same thing here, just add a little bit of that bright green color in there, add a little bit of red over the tip of the hummingbird. You already have that color on there. Go back with your green, kind of just blend that out, and let's see, maybe a little bit of copper on the wing tips, a little bit of blue on the very base. So you can very quickly just create these beautiful hummingbird images and color those in with the shimmer. To speckle the orchid, I use the Botanic Orchid Stamp and Die. Stamped that first with the Brilliance black ink and heat embossed it. And you can kind of see that speckled effect with the shimmer paint. I use the magenta stamp paint, so we're going to show you how to add that speckle very quickly and easily. So I first of all just spray my water on. It really doesn't matter if you do that before or after you've applied the stamp paint. You just want to kind of have it wet so it kind of dilutes it a little bit more. So you have this magenta color on your mat, and I'm just sponging this off onto my clear cardstock. That's kind of my stamp tray. And I'll start in the center and just kind of do what I call kind of a bouncing motion. Just kind of press that down and just kind of go up and down. Don't go back and forth because that kind of disturbs the speckle look. So I'm just going to bounce back off on my clear cardstock a little bit. I want a little bit more of the magenta color in there. So I'll just kind of go at the tips, around the edges of the flower. And that adds a nice texture and pattern. The stamp paint does dry very quickly, so you don't have to worry about smudging that. Pretty much right after it's on that paper, it's going to go back and be dry. So here you can kind of see how if you wanted the center to be a little bit darker, you could just kind of blot that out. If you get too much on, just use the clean part of your sponge and kind of try to wipe that off very quickly. You can kind of see how that color moves. But if you kind of wipe it off, it'll kind of eliminate that speckle pattern. So that is how you add the speckle, and you can go back, you can touch that right away, and that is dry. So here you can see how we added that added the shimmer, and then later on I went back and added a little bit of glitter with the dry as clear glue. I also colored the leaves and the hummingbirds with the stamp paint too. If you're wanting full instructions on the cards, I have the individual instructions on our website as well for those. Wasn't that fun adding some quick glimmer and color to the card with a stamp paint? One question I do get asked a lot is, does the stamp paint dry out? It does. If that happens to you, just spray a little bit of water into your jar or onto your sponge, and that will pick the color right back up again. Have fun adding stamp paint to your cards, one card at a time. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you next time.